Y'all stop rushing me. Okay, I'm here for sure. So, um, wow. So, I'm trying to catch on to this whole going life. Um, I needed to kind of get a handle on things. Okay, yeah. Make sure that this is on. And oh, uh, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm here. Y'all, let me tell you. uh, okay. I did something like out of place. So last night I was out and about, and I went live, and I had like 60 something people in here, and I was thinking, it's like, is this what you guys like? Oh my gosh! So I just went live, and it was, I was kind of a bit. I was getting some. I was like stretching my limbs, but while I was out there, I was like, well, let me check a few places. I hadn't been out there for a little over a year, and oh my gosh, it was quite the journey. But anyway, also had a very interesting conversation with a few people. You know, they were just kind of coming in, and yeah, so I received definitely some signs that as the channel is, I'm working on it, you all, as it is growing, and my watch hours are growing. I guess people are starting to see I guess I don't know, see what I'm doing, or kind of like visiting from time to time. We definitely will have some things going on, but I'm so happy that you all are interested in the direction of my mind, because in my vision, um, as I begin like the so I'll definitely will go live when I travel. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm trying to figure out a way to say it that's affirming. Um, so usually I'm speaking to someone else and I'm affirming things with them. So I'm in this kind of mode set. Oh, by the way, I am plugged in, so that means I could be disturbed at any time. So I'll try to, but I'm gonna be focused, and this one is not so demanding yet. Um, but it's getting there. I can tell it's getting there. My numbers, I am definitely demanding. I'm in demanding. According to stars, I am desired for sure. Oh, so when yes, going live is amazing. And uh, when I'm out and about, so traveling and of course, when things are calm, somewhere in the itinerary, definitely I'll interact and talk with y'all. Y'all seem to really like those as opposed to me, like, I really like to hang out. So, maybe I have to kind of try to create the room to be highly interactive and such. So, yeah, this is going to be, now this part sounds like it's going to be fun. Coming up with ideas how to make, do what to do with the space. So I will do that, or I'm working on that. I'll just have to just visualize. I have to visualize really hard, um, and keep things jumping so that when as you do, or as you guys come and visit again. Oh, thank you for like some people I even noticed, like a few people. I just I am I even noticed like well, I noticed their screen name, but said okay, I'm back. So I have to think about, like, what does that mean? Like activities, like being active, and I'll have to keep that in mind. Let me ponder that. Okay, I do remember the experience, so that's a rememberable experience, and it just happened. Oh, it wasn't even last night; it was this morning. So I'll keep it all in mind, and um, yeah, and I'll see what I can create. Of course, this is. I mean, of course, the interest there is like you agree with what my vision is to use my YouTube channel as a stage. So, and a means of like a portal or a doorway to out into the world. Because what I do is also very private, but my YouTube channel allows me to bring more of that out. So, um, you guys, I have to admit something. I don't know if I could. I really like, you know, those topics. Those topics, they just interest me. So that's probably going to be like, what's your thing? Like everybody has a thing, and that's going to be mine. And I think it may take some getting used to, but it'll be exciting. I'm not going to let any people always try to ruin my, like, spoil alert my story. They have the right or privilege. They're like inside, and they're like, so what's the story? Well, it's you're. No one is in the. I'm being nice. No one is in the place. Even the companies, especially not the one here in America, but the companies, try to get me to spoil alert. So what is the direction of your story? What is the middle of this? Look, I'm saying you're no one is in the position to ask me those things. And if you don't have it at the fan of heart, like, to be, like, observe it, I get it, but I'm not gonna like comfort you. I'm not gonna hold your hand. Okay, clearly it could be, uh, if you want to say, scary, but when you get scared, I'm not gonna hold your hand, and I'm not gonna say, oh, by the way, 5 minutes into this, or uh, in this particular chapter, this is. I'm not gonna do that. The whole point is to tell a very intriguing, compelling story, and sometimes I get the sense, it gives me the feeling almost like, people are like, almost like, how dare you create an awesome story like that? So I taking it kind of personal. So stop, stop it. Don't ask. I'm not gonna, don't come in and try to see. Okay, well, let's get to the bottom of this. I'm not gonna do doing that anymore. I don't have to, and no one is. I've not put anyone in that position where they like what's going on. I mean, yeah, that's wrong on so many ways for me to follow that pattern. I'm gonna try to. I'm going easy on this one. I'm going easy. I'm going easy. But that's pretty much that's what I'm saying. Look, I'm telling when my storytelling, and and when I'm you know um, creating vibration that it's it's meant to be uh, driven. It's meant to drive you. It's meant to inspire. It's meant to open the minds. But for some reason, people like trying to hop in, like okay, like people do with their lovers who work on social media. I'm like, wait. I, it's like, see, you there's a lot of steps that's being skipped, and there's you skip to the spaces where I would say, see, that's why I don't want all that. So, like, people would be like, "What are you doing on social media?" And it's like, who are you to ask me that? Because when I'm reading for people, that's what they like. They're at. Well, I asked my person not to. Like, why do they do this on social media? And it's like, wait. They, they went straight to the headache. I was like, look, I don't. It's like, you gotta be careful. People start asking you. They start asking you. So where are you from? I mean, where did you grow up? I mean, like where you were. It's like, wait a minute. First of all, leave children alone, including my inner child and my childhood alone. But see, that's why you gotta be very. Come on, you gotta be with it. Wake up, wake up, wake up. You gotta be like where I grew up. I grew up in the University of a university where I put all my timing into engineering. That's where that's where I got my start. Yeah, I'm three. Engineer. I wanted to be that all in my younger life. And I mean, like where did you grow up? Oh, where I got my instruction, Nevada. I got my instructions in Nevada. And thank you for your business today. Yeah, don't do that. Because next thing you know, that now they talking to that version. Then you want people to talk to the 3-year-old you, because that's what they're intending to do. They're trying to like first of all, why are you so smart? And people are not asking because you're just such a lovely person. They're sizing you up, or they're minimizing you. They say, well, oh well, like, well, you're just a woman, so you're just a woman. And all right. So where was your kid? Oh, okay. You really so you're not even from the city, like you from the country. Okay, so now from now on, I'm gonna speak to you like you from the country. Not that you come up out of the neighborhood and went and became educated, picked up a new way of speaking, read books to help you expand your vocabulary, and then become mature at a mature level. Yeah. So yeah, introduce the don't you don't have to go all the way. Unless you're writing a biography, you don't have to go all the way back. Just go to the parts where you need them to understand you first, and then of course as you get to know them and you know some things, personal things about them, like maybe you sit with their parents, their mom and dad, and you really get to know some things. Then it's a fair exchange. But like when people walk up to you and they're already trying to they're trying to take control of the conversation. They're trying to dominate the leverage or the dynamics in the conversation. You as a professional, and you have to see that that's what it is. And you don't have to call it out. Unless you want to, but you don't have to call it out. I mean, that's kind of confrontational, and they are a customer. It doesn't mean that you're having a bad conversation to boot. It just means that you just have to route it and speak about the important information. I tell you what, when I said, for example, in this conversation, they said, well, no, I mean, like, where were you raised? I said, well, I found myself in, out there in Beverly Hills. I was in all of the studios, and I was on the televisions, and of course, that's where I met, certain individuals. And I'm telling you, they were like, the truth came out. Like, whoa, wait a minute, I have to stop you right there. I have to stop you right there. I don't have, like, I don't have, I don't. Yes, I wasn't trying to set myself up to to kiss behind or kiss hands. I have gone to Hollywood parties where a dude, a man, straight out, a man, straight out. He didn't. I was like, no, him, and I just, I, mm, mm, I'm telling you, I'm not with that company today. For me, and because like I said, I stopped going to the parties. I don't do the parties, and a man doing me like that. The first time I entered, okay, I mean this is Beverly Hills stuff. The first time that I entered, I walked right into, okay, as I went up the steps. I had my jacket. I just put my got my jacket situated. I go into the park. A moment I step into the, I don't know if you will call it 4A, but yeah, I stepped into the, somebody gonna approach a woman. A woman gonna approach me. The first thing she gonna open her mouth with is, um, yeah, your grandma is from Mississippi and do hoodoo roots. I'm a priest and I'm a voodoo priest and I'm, yeah. Hey, you gotta come sit with me. And I'm like, she like telling me my whole life story, telling me what it is, and not giving me an opportunity to introduce myself. So I didn't float to the back of the room. It was way too dark, and there was nothing going on over there. And she was like, well, I'm over here. It was this place, this hotel, and I'm like, I just got here. I was like, I want to, well, wait a minute, well, I want to circle around. I kind of want to mingle. It's my first time here, so I'm gonna be really relaxed. If I make it back there, but I just kind of am, just trying to figure some things out. There's a bar. I didn't even have a chance to go get a drink. You know, I didn't. I was like, I mean, I wasn't getting one, but I'm just saying, I didn't. Did give me a chance to even get to see what kind of, like, I didn't even know what the inside, what the rest of the party looked like, what activities they were doing. They had places where people were taking pictures. They had raffle things going on, and that's what I'm telling you. You gotta be careful. Like, people like will eat, like, I mean, it's, and they're pretty fast and they're pretty bold. And that is not even my story, by the way. Hoodoo roots and grandmother's not even my story. And even if it were a story, if she doesn't know the story, it's only this much of the story, and I may not even have any connect. Now I may not even have any ties to my grandparents. So, so I was like, well, I really want to show up on my, as myself, as I like to introduce me, like, well, I read with I read with the tarot cards. Yeah, I use my tarot cards. Now, my great grandmother, she used tea leaves, but my great grandmother and myself, we are the same. I am my great grandmother. She had crossed over before I arrived, before I entered into this world. But I'm telling you, I am my like our gifts are lined exact, and she does do the whole. She did the whole write people's name in the Bible. You know, those are common things. But I was not. I did not want to be taken out of the party. I did not want to be taken out of the light. Away from the activities of the party. So as it kept going, I went and sat with a group of people. I was wondering like, why can't you not just come up here? Why you gotta sit way back? Like, well, this party's gonna be a little. Yeah, I go to these all the time. These parties are a little. And hey, you want making money? You want to make a lot of money? Like, hey, like let's get like come here and gonna try to take me off and get me going. I was like, I'm not. Wait a minute. At the time, especially, I was like, I'm not. I'm not right now. I'm good. They I had to upgrade everything, but they pretty much partially got me out over here. They got the ticket. They accommodating me here. I was like, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. And then so at the time I didn't want to even hear that, and it was like right there, like I was like these people that are standing right here, they invited us here, and as far as I know, you're invited here. Well, you're here now. Well, it's good that you have a chance. Well, let's see how I want to see how this one goes. And yeah, it was just strange. It was the strangest thing. I didn't really. It was just too socially awkward. Like this is just like meeting people. And besides, my the CEO's mistress kept ringing me. She wanted to tell me her story. Like all this is an industry of all women, and you choose me to tell the story. Like, why are you telling me? Why are you telling me? So I kept meeting these, kinds of, you know, my 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 partner is a writer, big writer, and yeah, it's like, well, we are just enjoying. So we're just seeing where things are. I think we're gonna go, for a walk and come back and see. Yeah, it's really nice meeting you. I didn't get the hint. And by the way, and everybody looks, they do. Everybody looks old and looks like swingers. So old and look like we could use a little bit of spice in our rice. Yeah. So. Mm, mm-mm. So I go over there. They found out that I do a couple of these. Looking great in jeans. But when I got there, I was like, I gotta keep like. Oh, I was like, oh, I was dressed casually nice. I was dressed like when you go to to the club and you wear like a nice jean, nice shirt, and you smell nice. I was that dressed. Like some were like, like they really did dress their tier. I'm not gonna. I just got there, and I'm like, I just got these jeans. The basic, 140. 140 nice jeans with the patterns on the buttons. Yeah, I love those jeans. Oh my gosh. Uh, the apple bottom jeans. I like tearing up the seam. Of course, I wore them there first without tearing them up, but I couldn't wait to tear up the little hem at the bottom and Trent cut and throw some boot on. I couldn't wait because I knew I was gonna be a magnet. Yeah. So anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, yeah. Don't let people. We call it. You know what they call it in some other worlds? They call it creeping. like don't creep me. That's where that comes from. Hey, you kind of creeping around here. You kind of creeping me, man. Or like don't creep me. Or watch what. Or some people don't like are really like um I don't want to start signing off here, but like there's some people that like who will challenge you if you like why are you asking all these questions and who are you you know? And people and you gotta be careful. People will like get things from you and get you talking and you know unfortunately for our elders, but you know but for you you know you and I you're like they start telling you things that you know in your whole heart that you told them and they're telling you like it's a matter of fact and also that is something that they wanted to tell you that like God just made sure to land these words on their ears and give it to you. But you're like, I told you that. You just regurgitate you, everything I'm telling you. You just saying it back to me exactly, and there's no real conversation. And you also will find out every time they get around you, you're talking about you. They're talking about you. You're never ever talking about them. And when you do ask about them, they run. So they go. So when you finally no well I'm asking you know, but never will they say they went to a school that live in this particular state. It was in this very specific counter on this very specific street, and they've got this X amount of siblings, very specific number of siblings. They've got both of their grandparents, they you know sets of grandparents. You know they lost their dad. You'll never get to that conversation with them. And every time you do, you start if you start like standing firm and you start speaking, you start saying there's you start realizing you're in a mental warfare here. They're like, I wonder when you was gonna. That say it right out. I wonder when you was gonna. I wonder. Oh, huh? You know, you're like, oh, you're being weird today. So you didn't ask me. You didn't ask my questions. And it's like the less that they even have to answer. Like you can now ask him. They want always want to soften you. Like how are you or how was your day? Oh, by the way, they start off. But then you start asking them. It's like, so how are you? How was your day? Either they're not going to answer. You know, they'll reroute they'll look about and it's like, I'm asking you how your day. And then next thing you know, they're picking something for you to talk about getting it back to you. Or they'll say, actually, especially if you say, if you kind of, if you say, oh, how was your day? Like you got a lot of energy. They're gonna say, well, actually, I'm having a very terrible day. I've got, you know, my pipes are busted. My guts keep churning. I can't stop going, you know, taking the, can't, you know, can't stand, keep off the toilet. And, and, and it must have been something I ate. And you could be you could say, hey, I'm getting ready to go have Chinese. It is a and Chinese food, hot spicy Chinese food, it just tears me. It just tears me up. It might be something bad I ate. Maybe it was Chinese food. Because especially if you said, yeah, I'm stepping over. I'm stepping over here to go grab something to eat. But how are you? So I mean, like that is so that just gives so many signs that that is what do I call those people? I call them something. I call them what do you call those? Not assassin. Um, uh, not a spiritual spy. What's another one? A spiritual spy. Uh, career assassin. What's another one? close to social psycho social psychopath. No, no, it's not that one. A chronic liar. No, not that one. Uh, it usually I have, like when it happens, then the name comes up. If I remember the name, I'll share it because I have a very specific name. I say, oh, you're a, and then you know from that on. I've even had and what in strangest things, they can travel in groups. Like they have like souls recognized like souls. I've had people say, "Oh yeah, you won't be able to get through him." I've tried. Like they can also transmit, and which cause you to feel like a conversation is going on without you. That isolation feeling. So yeah, they use all these tactics to get you kind of isolated. Yeah, yeah. So you have to be very cautious. That's my point. You can't talk to people like that if it's not on equal basis. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Or they'll give or that now they will give you generic. So in that case, if they say, "Well, you're not giving me anything to go on," well, you could say, I mean, honestly, I don't know you," and of course they'll act like when you say it like that, they're definitely going to say, "Oh, that hurt. What? We've been talking all this, yes, and we've been talking, and not once have you actually said anything about yourself at all. You never answered my question about you know what is your friend's name, sibling's name, or anything relatable to about your history. Like I'm used to people when you introduce yourself or when you're first meeting a person, like you do tell people about things that you want them to know first of all, and then as you get to know them, you tell them a little more about yourself, and then you find something relatable because they would have told you something like Um, so I used to horseback ride, and then they say, "Oh, I go to a horse therapy, like every 6 months." But yeah, we have that up here. So now they give you a location in Montana. Yeah, there's ranch out there. You have to come up sometime. Oh, that's nice. So then you say, "Oh, we're hitting it off." But some people are like yeah, they're trying to get all they can get in a conversation about and all of it is about you. So if you end up in that dynamic, you're like it's like you've got this um, friend who's portrayed as your best friend, and you don't know anything about them. It's not a coincidence, and it's definitely unusual. That means it's something not normal. Something not normal. Hmm. Or there's another thing. If you're dealing with people and they say, well, don't ask them about their past, or that person, don't ask them about their past because they've had trauma. Say, thank you very much. I will also not be sharing things from my past, and I'll keep everything up to date and monitor what we talk about. That's how you do that. So, yeah, you got to maneuver around these places. There's a reason why people don't want to talk about their history, but there's also a reason why people don't want to share, don't want to compromise with you about in their history. So kind of like balance the scale. It's okay. It's good and healthy to balance the scales, and then as they are like maybe being vulnerable with you, then those are times where you're vulnerable with them back, and then it matches. Okay, so there's a very specific situation that's going on in the psychic world, if you know what I mean, if you know. And so I'm gonna describe them as friends. I try to make it genderless, but so there's one of the friends is offering to help another friend, and said, well, while you go through this situation, this ordeal, you can also make a lot of money. And clearly, I'm a grade A business, and it'll be amazing for you. And also helped this friend get a celebrity level type of assistance. Celebrity type assistance. What level of celebrity? The A group, the iconic groups. And um, so the friend wants the, the other friend to do a lot of things, but was asked, well, would you like to put your money to work for you, and also you won't have to you want to pay any money um, for the services you render with these special services that are usually for um, was it class A type celebrities, whatever, how would they say that, the A group. But then said, well, if you're not interested in that, don't worry, I'll cover this A group anyway. So it's like, well, I want things from you, but I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to like get entangled. So yeah, it's like dynamics like that. So like people who are going through a hurtful situation, friends going through a hurtful situation, and so and then as a friend, it's good to, because you could have like your structures in your life in place, so you can, but your friends, and you want to help, but sometimes people are not, they're grabbing for like, okay, you give, they have the raft, but they're also grabbing for the hand. And so sometimes you just have to say, okay, um, this is what I'm going to do for you. And so it's not about that the resources are not there. The resources are here for you. I'm just like unconditionally giving you the ability to get the services that you need or desire, even if I cover it. But like, especially highlights. Listen to this. Especially highlight the part where it says, I got AAA in the business rating. I got all top numbers, all whatever 5 stars. I do big business, clearly successful. Look at my ties. Look at my ties here. I have you sitting down with, these are group. They only speak to celebrity. I have you speaking with them on 3 way. Now here we go. You can make this the easiest experience that you ever want. If you want, if you want to make money while you're going through this unfortunate ordeal, but the most empowering experience of your life, but making money while at it, and also having the money to, of course, also, by the way, like the friend is saying, I'm going to cover all of the services anyway. Like, what do you have to, like, what is there to, so it's that type of, yeah, so it's that type of situation, but it's like, I don't know, um I'll I'll sleep with you. I'll help you break up with your partner, but invest and make money with you. Oh my gosh, why would I ever want to do that? So it's good to, like, what they call it. Never get into a relationship where, I know there's a thing, it's like a dynamic where, uh, if okay, so if let's say a person has companionship that they're already with, but they also can may have somebody. Let's say you're the side person, a side man, or the side woman. But like if you're also building your life up, they don't want to build your life up. I don't know what it is, but it's like it doesn't even matter. It's male or female. They it's like there's a. I don't know if it ruins the fantasy, but they if the side person starts to elevate, people always ask like, are they really going to take this job, or are they really going to? It's like, gosh, you don't want to like they have to grow. They like eventually they have a life of their own. Is it like they almost have to like it's almost borderline. Well, do they have your permission? To accept the job and move on, or maybe start dating someone. And maybe they kind of want to take this a little bit more. Like maybe they want to go on a trip, together. It's so yeah, it gets yeah. There's a little very interesting rule. Like, oh, and by the way, they're not getting them anything. A lot. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they are. Like, I pay for her school, and I'm paying for her house, and I'm paying her. Or I lent him a lot of money. Yeah, a lot of money. It's like you want that money back now, don't you? Let's get the money back. So it's like, oh yeah, yeah. Might have to take him to court. But what happens if I just let it go? It's like, well, if you let it go, the way to deal with that is turn it into a gift. Give it to the universe, and then so the universe can reimburse you in their behalf. Energetically, you'll get the money back. Maybe not in the way that you want them to give it back, like in the 3D world. Like, hey, I want to say thank you. Maybe not gonna do it that way, but because like, well, well, you were just benching him anyway, and he's mad anyway. He's thinking like, you know, uh, you know, you just want him to stay there and just stay, like a on call. Like, oh, I need your services. Get here. Or like, what you doing? Well, where you at? And who with? I can tell how that goes. None of your business. I'm busy at work. Don't ever call me while I'm at work. I'll talk to you later. Fine. Oh boy. Yeah. So yeah, there's some tricky. We need to unravel some of this. Like we kind of because now as a psychic, I'm like, so like well, yeah. This so what do we do? This is a big problem. Like, if they take the job, if they go, if they're he starts sending the person like, well, what's gonna leave us? I'm like, oh, let me. Well, there you go. The string goes boing and boing, and I'm like, well, there you go. Like that's not what I wanted. Oh, you should. Why you just say that? Why are we play coy with that person? Don't play it. Don't play it with the psychic. Don't play it with me. They're like, especially when I teach them how to do the light. Like, how do you like? Okay, how do I get this person away, or the person to stop like reaching out to me every so often? And then I walk them through it, and then they call back and say, what did you do? This person hasn't contacted. I said, that's what it's for. I explained how it works and what it does. I said, I asked you. That's why I asked you. Were you sure? Are you sure that you want him to not do this and this? Yes. I have to ask you one more time because when you do this, it's going to work. Then I guide them how to do it. By the way, when I tell them this, they have this. They can do it for the rest of their life. But I think that they only probably going to use it in drastic moments. Like if you like how that person looks in their jeans, for example. You might not want to do what I'm talking about. I'm not even going to say it out loud, but it's a way to like when people like keep calling you and text you, and it's nothing. You don't have to buy anything. You literally just use you. But I'm going to leave it that. I leave it at that. But it worked so well that people reached out to me and asked me what I did. I was like, I gave you the tools to do it. That now, by the way, you could do forever. Now you can do it anytime you need it. So you have it for the rest of your life, and you succeeded. Congratulations. They say you speaking like this is a good thing. This isn't. And it's like, well, the way he spoke of him, it sounded like so. So I learned how to like to help people along with the whole working with a psychic thing. I said, I always now say, if you're honest with universe will be honest with you. So if you're honest, otherwise this could play out. If you're like trying to play some game, spirit game, okay, you might get through by me. I'm gonna have all the hunches and red flags going on inside, but you might get through the call. But then it's gonna play out. Universe is gonna be like, only spinning only universal consciousness stuff, and then you're gonna come back and say, so what's up with this? It's like, well, first of all, how honest were you about these things? Like, when you put it out there to the universe, what are your true intentions? Like nothing really goes forward. Let's say if you start looking at a lover, and especially if it's unconventional, and you're not being totally like you're trying to spin this sort of Mary Magdalene image, or what's the male version, or a father. What's his name? Father Joseph, Mary, Mary's husband. Trying to spin this like Father Joseph image or Mary Magdalene image with with me. Like no. We in the dark. It's too late for like we passed all that, all the formalities. How do you do? We don't know. We passed that. Like when you you already so you're when the moment I picked up, you say, "What's up?" You probably don't remember me. We already like yes, I do remember you. Yeah, we already passed all that. Like I'm your friend. Just put it out. Like what do you want? Okay? You like this guy or you like this girl? Okay, let's just start there. I don't care. Don't I mean, you can judge yourself, but don't no like don't judge yourself right now. Let's just focus on what you're aiming for. Let's just talk about that first and see what's available. See what you can do. See what universe how this plays out. So that's those are tough readings because the whole morality thing you know and yes, everybody in the circle, everybody involved know what's going on. So, but even if they don't, does that still stop a psychic from answering a psychic specific question? See, that's the difference. That's why I always let people know as well. It's like, look, there's no way I can be your psychic and your pastor and your prophet and your at the same time. I cannot be your judge, all of this, that your therapist at the same time because the books, but going by every one of these people have their own books and instructions to deal with questions. You're asking me, when you speak with me, you speak to me about dark stuff. You don't speak to your ministers about subjects. You're speaking with me about. so so we have to like. So I would get them out of that frame of mind. Like I'm a kind of little Muslim. No, you're not. You trying to get with this dude. I'm trying to get that dude in that office. Get him to shut that door. Thank you for your honesty. Now we can move forward. But see, then people, who play like that, they don't know what they in for when these things come true. Okay, so when you like, when you're a primrose, you get locked. Like he shuts that door, and he starts. He's having you to be comfortable to the point where he's like, "Oh, don't, oh, just relax. You're my sister." And then he's like this. doing the whole bra thing. You know how you can help a lady to relax. Like, okay, so here's the bra strap. You go like this, and like you can, especially if you here and here, that kind of, like he's right here in this bra strap like that, and he's like, you go like that, and she, of course, pulled up close into his chest, and of course she wasn't ready. She wasn't ready. She wasn't ready. She wasn't ready. So she came back and was like, "What do I do?" Well, I thought you wanted a male's perspective. I said, "Well, first of all, what you do is you're going to relax." So yeah, oh boy. Anyway, so that's a lot. That's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. I'm just telling the story as it is. I'm telling the story. Okay, so um, yeah. Mm. Okay, so um, these are not beefs. These are very the experiences I'm talking about now are not beefs. So these are common stories. Okay, so this is funny. The kinds of material that you speak about in the entertainment world or like through the blogs, people speak those things with me. Like you do the blogs about everything that's happening around certain celebrity. Well, that certain celebrity has had readings with me on the subject, for example. So like different conversations, social, like trending hot topics. Those A lot of those topics actually have in some way been connected to psychic readings. And then it plays out in the world. And then so that's why occasionally I will especially where we bridge metaphysically. So what I call metaphysical bridging. Like sometimes if someone is speaking on the subject, and I'm like, "Ooh, I have food for thought." And it's like, "Well, this is what you know. Well, this is what I know. Here, let me give you the rest of that parts I know." Obviously, I'm listening to what the new information they're informing me, and I'm like, "Look, let's go together." Isn't that strange? And that we got to look out for this, or at least be aware of this. Like we can still play. The way I think of it is, if you want to play, that's fine, but you should be allowed to know the rules. So like ladies, I like to make sure my ladies have all the rules, like the instructions. I like them to have all the cards in their hands to make their own decisions. And the guys, you know, the guys are, the dynamic, of course, is going to be a little different. But I tell them exactly her intentions, and if her intentions is, let's say, her intentions is to maybe get together or something into that effects. Let's say they get together, then what I will do is make it where they're not only to like okay, they can still get together, but he knows that she's not going to settle down. She doesn't want to settle down with him. She doesn't like him like that, or she just like him as a friend. Like he's a cool cat. Like to have good time with him from time to time, or or if she's gonna get, it's like, look, she's gonna become very serious. So um, yeah, this was a difficult one to say. Oh yeah, so if you're honest in what you want, she may be okay as long as you're genuine, and then it will help you to avoid blowing up later. It's like, ah, Yeah, like just if you're not into not intentionally giving her the wrong impression of what you might want, then she may be able to accept better what both of you will want, where you both can get out of the deal. So I always explain it to them that way in that context, and it makes perfect sense to because sometimes it's mutual. That it's it's a it's a bit of a binder where they want to connect, but they know that not likely to either one of them not interested in actually taking each other on as companions, and they don't know that they have to. They don't have to. But occasionally, when I have readings like that, more emotions come in. And what's funny is that it happens on the guy's side. The guy will start to have feelings, and will say, "Well, like he updates and said now he has feelings, and before that's not where his mind was at. That's not what is our conversation today." And so he's trying to figure out how can he convince her, that maybe it would work if they give it a shot. So he doesn't always he doesn't always know a lot of the times, and or how she will receive him, because like will she pull away because if he opens up and if she doesn't like that, she will pull he knows she'll pull away, and so he doesn't want to put her under pressure to where she may feel uncomfortable, like being straight with him, and if she has to even what do they call it, reject him on something, that that she will feel comfortable, because there's a in-person rejection, but then there's, well, if we never see each other, there is no action of needing or no need to reject you. I just like will like don't answer your calls or something, and we don't talk again, or we don't talk for a while. So those kinds of things come up or conversations come up from time to time. Yeah, and it's like the hooks, but like I try not to be the one like to unhook it. I try to get that to be from the point of view of, well, if that's what they want, does the client, do they want to unhook from that connection? Do they want to break that connection? If they want to break the connection, then that's okay. Sometimes, if that's just the direction they're going, and they're just kind of like just driving it home, they're just kind of like it's kind of like taking the taking the lawnmower and just kind of like um, of course you've adjusted the pillars, and you're just going over the same spot over and over and over and over and over and over, and there's no big change. They're not getting any closer, and to go any closer, it may mean to actually, now you're just digging dirt. So, uh, so when I see that a person is going and they're just kind of where they're just like redundant, kind of like, well, what about now? Like, especially if it's like in the same reading, it's like, well, do you think it'll ever change? And so, do you think so? You really don't think in the future it'll change? In the future, it won't change. It won't ever change in the future. It maybe not a possibility, or it'll be a little bit of possibility. So yeah, but usually I like will get to a place where they have to discover that reality for themselves, and then that a way they understand it's not by my words. It's not like I'm some magistrate for you, and you have to smooth talk me into agreeing that this will happen, or I will reconsider, the command and then reverse it, and then somehow everything works magically in their favor. It's like so sometimes you have to allow people to follow the path, and in that path they do soul search. And yeah, it does come out where the person's will end up having a conversation, and they're like, however they want to hope in their hopes, and then it gets shut down, and then they return, and it's like, yeah, they said no. It's like, but you needed to hear from them. Better than hear from them than myself. It came up through, but I was letting them know. Look, it came up through the reading. I didn't waste your time. It came up through the reading, but it sounded like, because we were going over that for so much, such a great length of time, that you needed to experience that in life so that you could see your options, to see what you can do. So, and of course, no one can refute something that someone has said to them. So, it's like, even if they start, kind of like, I'm going to come out of it anyway, going to break through anyway. Um, it's just a matter of, I mean, you're very welcome. Like, then I won't want anybody else, like, it's like telling the universe, then I don't want anybody else. Like, don't ask me to do anything for you. Don't ask me to get into a relationship for you. Don't ask me to like my soul to get my soulmate and create my destiny for you. You give me this one thing over. Give me this one thing over here. It's like okay, all of that destiny stuff, but then at the same time, that other person still is still a person. That person has a free will. So now it's just I always hope I was like, please don't plug this to me, because I will end up saying, look, I have my own I have my free will as well. You know, my way of thinking is not to put anybody in a position where they have to do anything. I don't want you to have to do anything you don't want to do. I don't want the other person to not be able to do things that they want to do, things that they have to do for the universe. I want that person to be able to go ahead and do it, just like I'm going to be able to do things beyond this call for myself and on my own, and I don't have to ask for permissions or anything. Neither do you. So hey, that's fair across the board. So I mean, I sometimes spirit, like I said, that's spiritual, firm language. Sometimes I have to firmly, spiritually say these things in that tone, when they go a little too far, when they're kind of like zoning that, kind of like, instead of don't shoot the messages, like, I dare you to shoot because I might shoot back. I dare you to shoot. I'm going. Then it's I'm you shot first. Then I shot. You shot first, but I shot back. So, but I do it in such a way that it's respectful, but you get the point. Like, oh, I'm being ridiculous now. I'm being a spoiled, uh, what person. Okay, I want my get my way. I know I'm being spot. Not taking this out on you. I'm like, I'm not let. And I will. If you say, if we have to have a conversation, point of conversation where you have to tell me, I'm not taking this out on you. I'm going to say, of course you're not taking this out on me. I'm not going to allow you, and I'm not going to allow you. But I'm listening to everything you say. Mm, so that's when I'm in my spiritual. I mean, that's spiritual language. I'm like, well, I still hope you have a beautiful day. This was not to, get you to have a bad day. Obviously, we want you to have a great day. But I believe that once you meditate on everything we talked about, you're going to have so many more options available to you, and it's all going to come to you. It's going to manifest for you, and you really will begin to live life in a way that will bring you happiness. So that's how I navigate the darker stuff. When it goes, what happens when it goes too left field, because people are going to try it, or try you. So can people manipulate the psychics and manipulate the universe, or manipulate the universe through psychics? No, 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 no. They can't. Um, I don't even think they want to be honest. Um, Not at all. They don't even want to do that. Uh, but it's only natural for, I guess, people or humans to do exactly those things. Like, get what you can get, you know. But I just have to remind people that this is a spiritual space, and spiritual space, it doesn't include um, taking over people of your free will. If that person gets with you, that's why, like, people want to be able to change people's free will, but at the same time keep their moral bearing. Like, um, they still want, okay, they want the psychic to help to overwrite someone's free will, but yet they also want the psychic to understand that um, a man stepping out of his marriage is like I'm is wrong. I'm not supposed to feel any way, shape, or form about what is right for him. So, and but people somehow, in a strange way, will expect that. They'll say, like, but she's married, but you know that. You've had plenty of time even before you had plenty of time before you even reached out to me to make that discernment yourself. Donald here. A pleasure, Ethan. You're welcome. Okay, sure. Mm, okay. So we probably it probably may be just some clearing because we energetically today actually we just entered a new wonderful space that's more about home centered feelings, groundedness. So now you're gonna be dealing with some stronger emotion, especially with partnerships. So I get the strong sense that he's thinking about you. By the way, you're heavily on his mind, but he's also says to him this is something new is happening within your relationship that he picks up on. Something new is happening. He keeps saying this. He says this is a new area, a new territory we're entering. Maybe he might feel like the way that you both are acknowledging the issues at hand, like your relationship is becoming a little bit more, things is becoming a little bit more apparent. And you're saying, well, what now that you both have made it this far, what's next? Is it to get closer? Hopefully, that's the answer we're looking for. To get closer, to getting more like having what they call the goals, objective goals for yourselves. And so he's saying, yeah, there's some new things going on, certain things that now you're asking for of him that wasn't the thing before, but now it is. Now it's important to you. And so it's not that it is not important to him, but he's just in a place like now he has this newfound insight. What is he gonna do with it? I think it's all about timing. The timing is right for him to unravel this. By the way, he does this, and things will go fast. The relationship, I mean, it will happen fast. I have a feeling that the way that he's thought of this relationship with you was that it was really no rules, no structures. I mean, now it's starting to have structures. That's the goal of the prize. That's the prize, by the way. Like he wants you in his life, right? That's the prize. That means he needs the structures, and so that he knows yours. In order to go forward with your ideas, he needs those structures in place. But these are also things. It's like you two love each other that way. That enough that in that context, he right. It's that is not said in words. It's being said. It's actually being activated maybe through like actions, and then, well, why are you doing this today, or why are we meeting up to? Then it becomes words because. Mm-hmm, okay. Mm-hmm. 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 That's what this is. So it's without like so without the words, just as you're describing without the words, but now it's like action. Well, he needs to see you, number one. He needs to like the part you just said it. He needs to come to see you. Mm-hmm. Well, he being that he needs to see you, he needs to communicate that he wants to do that. That's why he's got to call you and make the plans with you to see you. And the timing is like, then when is that? I believe it's this timing. I believe you're the like first day and this divine timing of like over this next week. Even though I'm seeing early August, I do see a week go by. By the way, he's gonna call you, but action wise is within a week's time. Mm-hmm. Okay. You do what you can do in the time that you have. I had 4 minutes. She kind of went on there, was telling me what I already was telling her. I was like, got it. So this is what happens. This is how it's gonna happen. This is the time. That's the prediction. Whew. Yeah, I'm both Donald and Ethan. She knows me as Ethan. She's like, what? That the right that there's like, you know, there's no one like you. I need to talk to you. Yes, it would be easier if I could just say, "Oh, Isaiah here," but yeah, I don't have that because for many reasons. They clients and psychics who work in the company. They don't link up. So and um yeah, that flat out that's a no thing. That's a no no. So now on my YouTube channel, definitely, I will tell people my stage names, but people also come here obviously and find out that my name is Isaiah Donnell Reed. So that's my name. But Donnell, Donnell is one of my stage names that I for Europe, and then you. I've always wanted to be Ethan, so this chapter I need to be Ethan. So I was Isaac. That's my dad's name. So now I'm Ethan this time. So, but usually I'm pretty good at saying like where I was, wherever I am. But I was kind of you know, I'm in my own little thoughts here. So, yeah. So I ended up saying Donnell instead of. It happens. It happens. Yeah, I'm actually. I was gonna tell her that I'm both. Oh yeah, I'm both. But I was like, okay, I'm trying to get you the right one. Okay, you looking for Ethan? Yeah. Okay, I'm Ethan. I'm Ethan. So what can I do for you? Oh boy. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I probably need to email her like so that she knows exactly what I was saying. So I can I can email her so that she feels like she had a full, you know, doesn't matter, okay. Yeah, it doesn't really matter how much. Plus, I want to kind of express to her that we appreciate her time. I'm gonna go try to find her now. let's see. Where is it at? Is it you? Oh, I don't know. Oh boy. Let me go find her. I don't even know. Well, I will know in a little bit. Oh, I need this one. So let's. Oh, bam, bam. Okay. Okay, I got her. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go make her night. So you got something to think about. Mhm. Um. Oh yeah, I've talked with her before. All right. A pleasure. Ethan here. Yes, I was actually writing you. I was writing you the. I was letting. No, seriously. I was writing you because I was going to send you the last piece of information that I was saying about like when he was going to reach out to you. Okay, so it's this week over the 7 days. Oh, so it's 1 week's time, right? But then he says, last piece says, oh, he wanted to see you in August. He wants to. That okay. But this is important. He needed to plan with you. That's what I left out by accident. He needed to plan to meet to see you in August, but he has to speak about this with you so that you both can have a plan. Yeah, so that it actually happens. And because you know he's not talking that much, but this is his way of communicating this to you without having had said all the words he said. But this is when he begins to actually say the words you need him to say. Yep. Mm-hmm. 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 He's not this time he's going to have the ability to communicate this the way that you both in depth and in fullness. They say that rather than through the more so the action, because when he says these words and then you both actually make the plan and follow through with it, it's communicated effectively and you both actually follow through with it. like the end goal, the end game, they say on the streets. You finally make it together, and then your relationship is becoming more serious. It's becoming more serious. So, do you two hit it off and become that serious couple the reading is suggesting? Yes. Mm, girl. Uh, you know, just because you paying money, girl, you don't get to over. I'm talking. I tell you, you don't have to tell me anything. Well, yeah, he said. Thank. I know that. I'm telling you. I even know so much. I'm writing it to you. I'm still gonna, even though you called, and I'm gonna still send it to you in writing. But he said, "Well, he taught me that." No, you're asking about it right now, and he's not like you said. He's speaking cryptic language to you. What I'm saying is, it is effective communication. Effective, girl. Don't try me. Okay, so he would. I guess he. Okay, yeah, we can use that. Okay, what are you? Okay, nice and oh yeah, and I want you to also have a nice and calm evening. Okay, so okay, and I wanted to get you the last bit of our reading, especially you this evening. I genuinely hope you're having a. Oh, they don't like having a. Is it maybe a okay a okay? We'll just say calm evening too. So I foresaw that your brother would be speaking. Will speak to you. Would be. Will be. Will speak. Will. Okay. Will speak with you in 1 week. He will then want to schedule a meeting with you for August. Next, this encouragement. Okay, so we gotta say something different. Encouragement brings a beautiful and more manageable relationship to both of you. Um, um, the relationship has much to offer in exchange in exchange for commitment on both sides, on either side, on either side. The relationship has much to offer, has much uh, bonding. That's about right. Bonding, much bonding to offer in exchange for commitment on either side. Okay. Okay. Uh-oh. In return for dedication on both sides, the relationship offers a lot of opportunities for bonding. Okay, both parties. Commitment, relationship. Oh yeah, that one. Okay. Okay. And send. Okay. I took care of her. Take that, girl. Ooh, I can't log out. I'm here all. I'm here for 6 hours. Let me log back in. I don't know why on the earth that I log out. Let me trying to make me feel like a dirty dog. Talk about you got 2 minutes of my money, girl. Those 2 minutes are to pay for the service I offer. So let me offer it. Let me do my service. In fact, I was writing you because I know how to write, read, and critical think, girl. So let me do my job that I meant to do for you. And don't go back to the community and tell them that if I'm gonna be a psychic, at least I can do is read your cards perfectly. If I'm gonna do it well. Better tell them, oh yeah, by the way, he not only answered all my questions, he also wrote to me, wrote me a nice little letter about my and specifically about my situation. I didn't ask you to go pray to the moon. Mm. She said, okay, do that too. Well, no, you just say you could do that too. You cannot do that too. You cannot read somebody, send them the information, tell them what you're gonna send them, and then send it to them and be 100 accurate about about their lives, questions that they never asked you before. There's only one person I know who can do that. Whether I'm called Donald, Isaac, Isaiah, Ethan, Ether, doesn't. That's the only, and that's one embodiment. That's only one person I know who can do that. That's what I specialize in. I know you didn't. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. Uh huh. I'm like, no, serious. That's why I said, like, oh, okay, do that too. Oh, no, no, I'm serious. No, no, I've got the information right here. Like, I'm real. I'm not playing. I'm not playing. Mm-mm. Okay. Does it look better whenever I turn on my lights? Let me see. It gets a little hot. I'm gonna be honest with you. Uh, mm, it gets a little, you guys. It gets a little hot with these lights. I don't know. Okay, there it goes. I don't know how. Okay, well, I'll leave the lights on for now. Yeah, it's a little dark because. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I was like, no, I'm serious. I have the information already, like right here. I'm gonna have to like send you a little extra. Mm-hmm. So there. Now let's look. Okay, there. Usually, okay, in the daytime, usually there's natural light pouring in here. Yeah, it's a little dark outside, so I had to turn on some lights in here. So yeah, much better. All right. Uh huh. Much better. Good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know why people think that's a jab to for. I'm a psychic, and uh, I tell people like like exact things about the future, that things they only know, and then they're gonna tell me, well, he already told me that. He's already told me. Told well, he already told me that 4 days, but it's just that he's speaking to me cryptid. Like that's what I'm saying. People are busy trying to. They're trying to. You're using passive language to try to talk down to me or talk up to me. Like, well, not only did I tell you, there's a reason why I told you that he's going to communicate this better with you so that you can effectively have effective information that produce achieving goals so that you can finally get it there and get on. because when you busy too busy living your life with him, you less busy trying to talk down and up to me. So you know full on well you cannot predict the future. Mm-hmm. And I didn't need you to tell me what he said. I didn't need you to. But because you told me what he said, that only confirms what I'm saying. But I'm telling you, they be. I'll be. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Oh boy. So. Oh, by the way, I have beautiful security. So, like, yeah, if you come in here talking a lot of nonsense, if you like, you know, trying to, what do you call it? If you're cat calling and all that, and you know whose genitals belong to who. If you come in here, by the way, all that I don't see none of that. I don't have to see none of that. It literally like it'll have it there, and then it gives me an option to even look at it. I don't even have to acknowledge it. So that's yeah. So there's a buffer, and it's only I think it only gets put in if I approve it. So like if you come in and like if right. So like I don't even have to like I could all the way. I was just curious. I just happened to tap on one, and there was something to the effects of, it just says something, but that it was, but I didn't want to go any further than that. So like, yeah, so I guess if you come in here and you like, you know, racism, 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 it gets it gets caught, and then I don't even see it unless when I click on it, then I have to decide if I want to see it and if I want to make it where everybody else can see it. So nobody can see it. I can't even see it. So yeah. So I'm just saying, yeah, you really can't come in here acting up. Can't come. Yeah, it's not that. This is not that kind of place. This is not the urinal of YouTube. Sorry. Yeah, you're gonna come in here and take a wee and then run off, without washing your hands. No, I. This is not that, or and nor am I. Um, I, I'm nobody's uh, OF healer. I'm not an OF healer. So no, That's not what I do. So I want to spoil that story for you. Tell you the ending of that story. It's not. It's the ending of the story. Oh, I gotta be careful. Yeah, in game. That's what they say on the streets, girl. Yeah, I gotta be careful with that. That's what they say on the streets. No, yeah. In game. Let me spoil alert. Yeah, this you don't get this. This is the end of the story where you don't get what you want. Hmm. Oh yeah, and as for the story, the gentleman, he's all like the executive, like he's kind of like already in the office, you know. He's just standing out there looking out the window, looking, all throughout the city, and um, the old man, he's arousing, he's waking up, and the first words that he wakes up to, "Have you made your decision?" And he says, uh, he asks, "Is there any more sandwiches?" He says, "We'll get some, uh, shortly. We'll get, the gourmet, the cook brings them up. We catered in every morning, um, between 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 brunches." And he says, "Sure, sure. So you consider my taking my proposal? Sure, sure, sure. So, um, how about these? So how about these sandwiches?" You were saying, yes, between in the midst of brunches. It's like, okay. So he takes the job. I'll have contracts drawn up for you. And he says, "We've been wanting to expand here lately. We wanted to try new things. That's why you were choosing you." So he's discovering. And he also says, "By the way, I never did formally introduce. So now that we're making this formal, you might as well know who I am." He says, "Yeah, we're going to be working together. Or I'm going to be, I don't mind working with you." Well, it's not much of a choice in this matter, but it's everything that I said. You will work for yourself, but I am the executive. And then he took a deep breath. He says, he finally blinks his eyes and he looks towards the guy because he was more like looking at the table, like thinking about sandwiches. But he like looks towards the window where the guy is standing. He says, "You're the executive?" He's like, "Yes, I run this entire enterprise. This is mine, and it's been in the family for since I was a young boy. It's built from the ground up, and I've actually expanded it many times over. You know, So he's basically making money hand over fist. So he says, uh, Okay, so it says, so you're on board officially. He says, yeah, yeah, I guess so, yes. So what will you have me do first? He says, for now, let's just talk and get to know each other a little bit better. And that's where how the morning starts, and also his life is undergo a tremendous transformation. Um, and he's very happy, that he's like he feels like he's what do you call it? He feels like like some sort of reassurance that he's doing the right thing. He already felt motivation, but now he feels like sure something inside that with great certainty he should take the position. So that's exactly what he intends to do. So so he ends up taking the position, and the contracts, of course, are being drafted. He's enjoying, the gourmet meals, the meals brought in. He's been enjoying that, and also he's beginning to look a lot better because he's starting to feel a lot better inside. He is starting to feel like the man that he once was, the man who visited in his vision dream. He visited himself, the younger version of him, or his version of this prime, his prime version of himself, visited him wearing a suit that's made for this executive office he's in, or from this office, amazing office that he's in. He's in this comfortable chair, and he's feeling like he once had so much time before, and he even feels younger. And when he looks in the mirror, what he sees is vitality, power. He sees fire, tenaciousness. He sees all that. There's like something in his eyes, is on fire right now. So he's really considering that his life is seemingly is on his right trajectory. Now he hasn't made sense of it all, because like, wow, this was a huge find out. The huge find out was that he's been speaking with an executive all this whole time, but he's not thinking, wait a minute, I put out to the universe I wanted to have a boss who is my executive, who likes me a lot. Basically, he hasn't got to the part where the boss is even appreciating him yet, because he happens to meet this executive. He didn't even know who was the executive, and now if, has finally heard that that is the case, and but he hasn't actually started delivering yet. So he hasn't started working yet, but he's in that headspace where he's saying, that he says he has to change his life. He says, I've got to change my life. So that's what he come up with. He says, I have to change my life. My life has to change. So that's where he's at with all of this. His life is on the right trajectory in transformation. That's transformational, and his life is changing. So yeah, so that's the story. That's where we are for now, and we have to check in on him a little later. Right now they're going to have their conversations, and he's going to talk about. I guess they're going to talk about what the business is about and things like that. So far as what we know about the company is that it's made up of investors. Like there's investors involved. So, and of course it creates much money. We know that. You mean their company's gonna make much money, and this man, who this executive just pulled out from the off the street, is gonna come in and make this company, run. He's gonna run $1 million meal tickets. Well, we're gonna keep reading the story. We're gonna keep reading and find out. But it seems that that's what's happening. It seems that's what the story is about. I think it's gonna work out. I think it's just fine. It's fitting. Oh gosh. So, hmm, yeah. Oh boy. So yeah. Um, yeah. It's about a guy who just is like discovering himself again. That's kind of like what I guess what it's about so far. This guy is, he lost himself, and it's like he added so many years into the future. Like he added 20 years to his life. But then, but the reality was that he's he's still very much, in his prime. He may not feel like it. He may not look like it all, or feel like looking like it all the time. But he still has it. He still has good energy. He still has those qualities um, that he remembers so long ago, so very long ago. He still has possessed those qualities, and now he's going to put those qualities back in service. And yeah, and he's met a really good guy so far. The executive seems like a very nice, like a nice guy. I'm not gonna say a kind guy, because the power just shifted the moment he said. Because at first it was like, well, we're friends and we'll like work together and we'll be partners, and you'll work under me and you'll catch on and you'll be working for yourself. Now the power ball just shifted even more towards he's like now finding out, oh, by the way, about the executive, well, you're talking to him. I am the executive. So now there's something that is shifted. He definitely has the attention of the man. The man is like, he's like, because first of all, he's looking at the table, like he's like planning out his next meal, but then he goes, "You're the oh yeah, about he just waking up, by the way." So he wakes up to, so you accept my proposal? He's like, so are there any more gourmet sandwiches? The guy, okay. Then he says, oh, by the way, I'm glad you accepted the proposal. I'm the executive about that. It's like, you're the executive? So he just finding out that truth is like, oh, you're the boss. Yeah, the boss. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the today's story. And of course, we could keep reading those two, but pretty much you got today's story. And I will do another story. You know, I thought that 6 o'clock would be great. And besides, I went out last night. So yeah, I went out last night. So yeah, so I was like, I need to make sure that my mind is right. I need to write. So um, we just wrote a client. I think she's gonna be happy to read what I wrote her. Yeah, I'm just on it right now. So Mm-hmm. Yeah. I definitely want to get. So now you know how important it is. Obviously, like when I work with a person, they said, okay, you're getting 2 more minutes of my money. It's like you know. Now it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I was just writing you. Well, do that too. No, no, I'm serious. Here's what it says. You're coming back to ask me when all this is gonna happen. I just want to let you know. I want to let you know when and also how it's gonna happen and why, and then you understand what's going on. And also, I finished writing about it. I was able to go a little bit more in depth. I added a little bit more to it because yes, I also expressed what I was writing for, and then yep, I sent it. So clearly, doing fantastic work is important to me. You saw that at first hand. I am top tier psychic. I am top tier. Of course, I make it look easy, but like, oh yeah, you just do readings, like you just do it, right? Like you like anybody, you just read the card. No, 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 no. It's more and more uh, special. Yeah, my style is much more special than that. And by the way, I wasn't reading cards. I just this one I just knew. When I'm able to, especially when I'm able to do that, after I've already read for a person once. I've already read for her once. So guess what? We're related. We're psychically connected. So I get insights, even if she's not necessarily with me. But the beautiful thing about this particular company, I can always message her. I can message her right now if I wanted to. So yeah, but the other one is like I get messages, but I'll start getting messages before they call or something, and it's like, oh, they're gonna call me, and then they do within hours or the next day. So like less than within 24 hours they call. It's so strange. But I made her day so good that I'm over here like, yeah, I know I answered your questions. I know I did a good job. So I'm so happy for her and her boyfriend. So yeah, they're gonna they're gonna chop it up. They're gonna get together in August. He has big plans for the two of them, but he needs to. But he's keeping her shrouded in this space that she didn't. By the way, she didn't tell me any of this. She just didn't know. Like she's very much like, come on, spill. Like she wants him to spill his beans. So I end up spilling the beans, and then she confirmed, and then I was able to go a little, give her a little bit more like greater detail, like the reason why this has to happen is so that everything is effectively communicated, so that then the goal happens, everything is achieved, so that we can create the companionship you've always wanted. Because they're on another level. So I'm definitely reading them. All this, so total time, 6 minutes. 6 minutes, 6 minutes never flew by so fast. So you sell to all of these topics in 6 minutes, and of course the excitement of a person. Any one of us calling a psychic, you know how you all get. You have a lot to say. Yeah, 6 minutes. We were able to fulfill it, and plus you got a letter out of it as well. Yeah. But I can invest that with this company because this company is I'm a top tier. So yeah, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it, and it puts me in a comfortable position to really support my clients. This one, the one over here in the it's just different. Like it's based on the time that I have with my clients right then and there. So that's how that factors in. So like the time that they're with me, that's the time I can pour into them. I may can't write with them, but with them I can tell them a story, for example. There's no time to really tell a story, but I get to practice getting in the habit. Yo, yeah, I got to get in the habit of writing to you all because I have to write. I have to write. I have to write like I'm planning to write ebooks and things. So this is kind of like discipline me to write and to write well. So yeah, that's what I offer. Oh, but that's not what I offer YouTube. I'm not saying come and get your readings now. That's not what YouTube is for. YouTube is for creating a stage because I want to do something much. Okay, yes, my what's your thing? Psychic, yes, psychic, spiritual, metaphysic, all of scriptures, all of that, but bigger, but something and different. Like there's tools that I'm going to remember. There are tools that I'm going to introduce to the channel at when I get to a very specific level. So when I get 3,000, upon reaching 3,000 watch hours, I begin. I go into learning mode, and also whatever I'm learning from these books, I'm going through and making sure that it's in alignment and that it's in excellence in terms of, first of all, does it work? And is it right teachings? And I will know. So after I verify it, then I will share it. Now I have verified that I know that the information is good. So it's good for what I'm intending to use it for. So I've already secured that. But I mean, there are lessons that I haven't even, or passages, I create lessons. There are passages that I haven't even touched. But so far, what I've observed so far, it's been crisp, which I'm going to share on, which I'm going to share on my YouTube channel. So, but also bigger than that, because remember, I'm using this as my sort of stage and my go-to because I guess I'm going to have to get used to going live all the time and making that a thing. But also, it's like a doorway to the world because I will get to do things in person. I will arrange create events where people can just show up, which that's my dream. I just do an event like if you just happen to be in the neighborhood, just drop on by. You get here, you'll be taken care of. So like those kind of events, I want to do that. I can't wait. So and then, but everything at the same time, and then additional things. Energy wise, I know energies pick up. These, the I guess what you call it, the fascination, wait, entertainment, however that goes. I know it's there. whenever whenever we're talking, that is not a problem. So I don't know what it's gonna. Okay, well, what about the different personalities that might show up to these things? Well, we're not there yet, so we don't know. I mean, I can only we can suspect what kinds of people we're going to attract, but it can also say, look, let's just let's just get there first. Let's get there, and then we can because uh, people of all types can have a breakthrough. So and plus, I'm equipped to. If I think if I'm already believe it, if I'm given the opportunity, I think we can get them to the event. I think we can. But I mean, like, but security, security. Oh we'll have to make sure that like everyone is first of all, you've been safe. you know, um, like what kind of what is the nature of what? So we'll definitely have to create some social policies, but we could do it in a way where like I love where like people are like, I don't know, can they, will you all be able to handle me? Like it's like no one need, you won't need handling. Just you come and we'll experience a breakthrough. Most likely, you'll get a breakthrough together. But I would love to do that where people just, again, it would just be free. I say just show up. I mean, like I want to create events where, and nice events, because I already looked into it. It's possible. It is, well, for me, it's possible. So I'm hoping that we can, that I can create. Excuse me. That I can create into something wonderful. Something that well, I can do it, and I know what I'm talking about. No one knows what I'm talking about, but you'll see what I'm talking about, and you'll say, "Wow, this is actually turned out to be nice. It wasn't that bad." And uh, what's the what? I don't know the nice word of saying it. I want it to be universal. So I'm, if the dudes want to come, the ladies want to come, and if the lady want to bring their man, I don't care what he looks like. And likewise, if a man or a woman, like a nice couple, want to come, to the event. I mean, um, that is fine as well. Family. So I'm trying to create that sort of space um, where there can be growth, lessons, teaching, and people to feel comfortable with having said experiences. Because it will definitely be enlightening for me as well. So I know it's going to become more elaborate than that eventually. So I wonder what go. Well, I know what topics I'm writing about so far, but I wonder what the book is going to. I know the topics, but what the book is going to say. Anyway, we'll get there. We will get there too. So that's what's going on. That is how we're dealing with everything. Uh, yeah, it's pretty much coming together the way that I'd hoped. Yeah. So anyway, all right, I'm catching up. Hmm. But oh, by the way, we're also doing spirit work, so we can't forget about that. Spirit work allows us to, like confirm, especially for Western minds, that this is a time where you can still be active. Yes, be in your feelings, be mad, feel like you whatever I guess the outcome you wanted didn't come together, didn't quite come together like you expected, but you still should expect growth though. You still should grow as a person. Um, because whichever type of fight you bring on, that you take on, you're not done. You're still here. So keep working at it and be all now be always ready. Be prepared. Like sometimes you're so prepared you don't know how much, like what more do you need to show that you are ever prepared. Sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes you have to something big, like a big fail, a big failure has to happen to a person who has everything at their disposal. Like I can do anything. What do you just need to do? All I need is the instruction. And then when something fails so big, then you realize, oh, I think I've got the manual now. Like it's kind of like to me, it's like when you first get a puzzle and you pour out all the pieces on the floor on the table, and you're like, okay, I've got to put this submarine together. And you're like, here are all these. Wow, look at all these pieces, little bitty pieces, and then you got glue, you know. So or look at all these puzzle. They're so small. These puzzles like 1,000, 5,000 puzzle pieces. It's like okay, um, where do I start? So it's kind of like that, or a formula. Like you get the formula, and then you kind of get the every like all of the the patterns, the way that it flows, the functions. You get them all together. It's kind of like that. So definitely, this gives you something to organize in thought, and then you start to put it together, and then whatever made it what made that a fail, now you can make it a pass or a win. You make it into a win, and then you pick up and go from there, then go to the next stage, and then continue to build. So sometimes you have to experience a loss so that you understand how exactly to gain. Because sometimes you say, I just need a foundation. I just need a starting point. Well, you got one. This is not the kind of starting point you were thinking, right? Well, think of it like this. What can the world give you that's going to give you a leg up? You have a leg, you have both legs up. And you don't necessarily need arms to do what you do. So all you need is something to fix. You need something broken, but not a person. You need an issue broken. You need a company structure broken. You need a policy that has become broken. You need you need maybe a system of all kinds, monetarily systems that was like a golden, like it was gold, a decade ago, 20 years ago. By the way, the high school civics told you that Social Security was not going to last forever. It's just like you might as well have said, I hate to be the president that announces that this is on his watch. This is where Social Security ends. It was ending anyway. You do know that, right? They teach literally. It wasn't even a. It wasn't that even. It was like a prediction that you make through statistics. Like there's just no way that money could sustain Social Security. You're gonna run out of money to pay the Social Security anyway. And all this means is that's a old problem. Like they have programs. Programs can be wonderful, but then until they don't serve us no more, and then guess what? We come up with new programs. So we just need to find a new way to deal with that part. We need a new way to deal with these systems that are in place that worked for a while, good programs for a while, no longer serving, no longer serving us, and then now that they're no now that we need another pathway. Like for example, the system and how people who work for the state, or they say work for the people, how they're going to be compensated if they don't have to rely on the people to pay money in the form of taxes, right? Obviously. So that means you have to create another type of economic system in which these people, a person can take on this as a career. What's the incentive of them taking a job or continue to do the job? They get paid, but also you mean they get all of they can where they can what, pension, retire, and all that, and get raises and and get get things like commissions and things and gifts, like, well, not gifts, and you know what I mean, like grant money, and raise money with the community, like that can be resolved. So they have to find a way to. It's like, well, yeah, if we never even start, it's like having all this in a form of files in the next room over, and every day, and then every year, every 4 years, every 8 years, every presidential entrance uh, candidate, somebody who's candidate and then actually becomes the executive, keeps looking at it, knows it's there, and never go into the room. They just get, look, we don't want here. I don't want not that one. Put it in there. Put it with the rest of the files. They go in there, and it's like files stacked high. It's like, and so it's like, well, if no one even want to look at the problem, clearly there's a problem, but no one even wants to look at it. He's like, we gotta look at it. We gotta come up with a different type of system that is workable. This one is, yeah, short term happiness doesn't get you perpetual happiness. Short term happiness is exactly what it sounds like, a very brief moment in time. And but then you say, how, we need something lasting, something secure. So like a secure, we need security. We need oh, by the way, security is perfect with the sign for cancer. By the way, I know you hate to hear this, but we're actually, I did use the lion in my screenshot, but we're not in Leo. We just entered into the sign of Cancer. I'm not gonna put it in my thumbnail or anything, but I'm just letting you know. We have the dates have shifted in a major way, so we actually just entered astrologically in the sign of Cancer, and then when we're done with that one, then we enter to Leo. So yeah, about that. That's a whole nother story. You might not want to. You might like look. Don't start with me. I don't. I've been a lion all my life. Okay. Okay. I won't bother you. But we're in Cancer season. Oh gosh, that's just science. That's just the science of it. So, um, all right, okay. Uh, all right. I'm going to. I know I could stay forever, but